Alright, here we go. 2020 NHL Mock Draft. Hype this one up a little bit, but it's here. We're going to do the top 15 because, honestly, the second round of the playoffs isn't over yet. I don't have the patience to wait for it to be over before I do this. And honestly, it was hard enough doing the top 15. I think doing more than that might drive me insane because of how much of a crapshoot this all is. I don't think it can be expressed enough how much of a crapshoot this whole thing has been. Alright? This right here, this mock draft is the definition of throwing darts at a board hoping that you get something accurate. There's so many guys who could honestly go in the top 15. There's 10 players definitively who will go in the top 10 in my opinion. And then from there, there's 5 guys I have there. Arguably, maybe they won't go, and maybe one of the other 7 honorable mentions, or arguably people I'm probably forgetting about, maybe one of them will go in the top 15. Like, it's insane how much talent there is. That being said, I've tried to decipher through as much as I have. Thank God that the Hockey Writers NHL Draft Guide exists, which I will link down below. This is where I got a lot of my information on this video. And yeah, so let's just hop into it. We're starting with honorable mentions, and believe me, that's not a short category. Alright, honorable mentions. By the way, we're actually stopping and starting recording a lot. I'm gonna actually edit this, put effort in. Here are my honorable mentions as I look at this, long document I have set. Shout out to Noel Gunler, Dawson Mercer, Hendrix Lapierre, Connor Zary, John Mysak, Rodion Amirov, Caden Gould, and there's probably more out there I'm not forgetting. All these guys I looked at and I was like, maybe they are top 15. But at the end of the day, I picked guys that I genuinely believe were going to be in the top 15. When I look at this list of honorable mentions, the couple of people that stand out to me the most, the 2 people really, Dawson Mercer and Rodion Amirov, sorry. I think it's the same, yeah. Dawson Mercer has been talked about being a top 15 guy, but there's so much competition, I don't think that he is. And Rodion Amirov, again, same situation. He's a great player, but I don't think that he's going in the top 15. Let's hop into it with the number 1 overall pick in the draft, and I feel like it's pretty obvious. Number 1 overall pick in the draft, there's no referencing that needs to be done. There's no document looking. I don't even need to give you an explanation. The number 1 overall pick, the New York Rangers, will select Alexis Lafreniere. Yeah, there's no debate about this. I'm actually shocked that at one point in the year, and I don't know if it's shocking because of how good Lafreniere is compared to them, or if it's just an indictment on how strong this draft class was, but there was genuine consideration that both Quinton Byfield and Tim Stützle could go number 1. Remember earlier in the year, late 2019? I know, that was only 8 months ago. It's been a ridiculous year. But yeah, Alexis Lafreniere, a franchise-level wing, and you don't pass that up. I don't care who's available after. You don't pass that up. The Rangers lucked in to arguably, you thought Panarin was good? I think Lafreniere could actually be better. Lafreniere is going to no words describe how good he's going to be. He is fast. He is skilled. Offense. He's got an okay defensive game. He will be immediately ready to be a top 6 player at 18 years old when he joins the New York Rangers. I personally believe, with the presence of Lafreniere, that they might actually, make the playoffs into the real playoffs this year. It's going to be crazy to see what they're going to do, and I personally believe Lafreniere, that's just luck. That core did not need Lafreniere, and now they're going to have Lafreniere. Yeah, expect big things. That being said, not as predictable is the second pick, in which I have the Los Angeles Kings selecting Tim Stützle. Now, a lot of people have Quinton Byfield going at this pick, and I don't know what it is I genuinely can't say, and there's a couple picks on here, because that's what I mean about it being a crapshoot. There's just some times where you have to look at the situation, and I just can't seem to determine who will go where. It's just kind of like a flip of the coin. Feels like this is one of the moments, because when you look at Tim Stützle and Quinton Byfield, both of them could be the number 2 pick. And it's really just kind of going to be a coin toss. I personally think that the more dynamic of the two in the way is going to be Tim Stützle, just because I think there's a bit more flexibility there. You know, Quinton Byfield, like I said, don't get me wrong, this man is going to be incredible. He is going to be insane for the 3rd overall pick, and we already know who's going to be taking him. But I think Tim Stützle is just the more sensible pick for the Kings, you know. He might be able to play the left wing if that's the way you want to go. Probably just have him playing the center. That's probably the better way to go. Fast, very elite playmaker. Like, I think that that's the way to go. I honestly can't tell you, though. I really, really can't tell you. It's that much of a coin toss. It could be either way at this point. That being said, this transitions us to the 3rd overall pick in the draft, where the Ottawa Senators select Quinton Byfield from the Sudbury Wolves in the OHL. Pretty sure I got that right. Quinton Byfield, right? This is like a perfect match for the Sens. He really is. You know, up the middle, they have guys, but they don't have a Quinton Byfield. They don't have that elite first-line center. Step up Quinton Byfield, and my God, like, that team is going to be scary. This is another guy who can jump right into a top 6. In my opinion, maybe you start him on the 3rd line and then immediately realize, oh, he's better than this. Quinton Byfield's going to be really good. Quinton Byfield is going to be really, really good no matter what team he ends up on. I think he's going to go to Ottawa, and honestly, Quinton Byfield is the type of guy you build a franchise around. So, like, and honestly, just look at their core. They're going to have Thomas Chabot on the defensive end. They're going to have Eric Brandstrom. That's who I was looking for. Lassie Thompson and Jacob Bernard-Docker also look like 2 very good pieces going forward. And on the forward core, you're going to have Brady Tkachuk, Quinton Byfield, whoever they get at 5th overall, we'll see here in a minute, and more. Like, yeah, they're going to be good. They're going to be really good. This is going to be a scary team, and we haven't even gotten to their 5th overall pick. Before we do, we have to look at the 4th overall pick by the Detroit Red Wings. And I'm going to have the Red Wings selecting Marco Rossi. Alright, here we go. This is probably the most shocking thing to come out of my mock draft, personally. I don't think many people are going to have Marco Rossi going up this high. Some people do. I know it's a bit of an off-the-wall pick, though. I don't know what it is about Marco Rossi, but he just feels like such a Steve Yzerman pick, you know? It feels like this is the type of guy Yzerman would go for. And there are a few other good players on the board still. Honestly, I could see them also taking Jamie Drysdale, which could mess up my entire picks 4 through 6. But I think that they are going to take Marco Rossi. I think that Marco Rossi is an underrated talent in this draft still. I think he's going to be an elite player going forward, somebody who, maybe not this year, but next year will be ready to step in, maybe even play top 6 minutes. He can be an incredible piece to that forward core that Detroit are going to try and build up. And honestly, I look at the type of team Steve Yzerman loves building. Marco Rossi being picked here makes sense to be pinned in as that second-line center of the future, because, you know, you look at the construction of Tampa, and I always like to, when you see a GM move, I like to look at if he's building his own team. Okay, what did the last team he built turn into? And I really think that Marco Rossi is going to be Detroit's Braden Point in a way. But Marco Rossi, incredible talent. I think he's going to go at number 4, leaving on the board a choice for the Sens to make, and I think the logical choice to make for the Senators is Lucas Raymond from the SHL. There we go. They pick a right winger, okay? Lucas Raymond, he's not the best sniper, right? But he is a really good right wing. He's a two-way winger. And I think, and again, this is going to be an elite talent who's only going to get better. Like, we talk about these guys and say how they're really good at things now. Yeah, they're only going to get better. That's the scariest thing about being 18. Lucas Raymond is going to be a very, very good player. I think that it's hard to gauge him, but I think honestly, first line potential is definite with him. And honestly, one day going forward, Ottawa, if this happens, right, your first line might just look like Brady Tkachuk, Quinton Byfield, and Lucas Raymond. That is not a bad first line to have in any way. Not at all. And, you know, Lucas Raymond, to me, there's just something about him, man. Again, I think he's going to be really good. Like many players in this draft, I think he's going to be really, really good. Yeah. We then transition to the 6th pick, which is kind of one of those fall to the lap moments. But I'm going to have the Anaheim Ducks selecting Jamie Drysdale from the Erie Otters, another OHL pick. So yeah, in a universe where there's a team like, the only reason Jamie Drysdale has made it to this point is because of the fact that the two teams ahead that are picked 4 and 5 are Detroit and Ottawa. I genuinely believe that if you had a team like New Jersey or a team like Buffalo in one of those top 5 select, like in picks 4 or 5, Jamie Drysdale would not be on the board. And I know that's not a realistic scenario, that would never happen because of how the draft works, but I'm just saying, with the two teams that are there, it makes a lot of, it just doesn't make sense for them to take Drysdale. I could see Detroit doing it, but I think it would be a mistake if the Sens do it, because you have Jacob Bernard-Docker, you already have Lassie Thompson, and then you're going to add another offensive-type defender on the right-hand side. It doesn't make sense. Anaheim, it doesn't make the most sense because they already have a very deep defensive pool, but, well, maybe not deep, but high-end. A lot of good defensive prospects there, and an already good established core. But Jamie Drysdale is like your number 1 defender type level here. We're talking about somebody who's really good, and I genuinely believe that him in Anaheim would just, it would be very good for the franchise. Definitely be very good for the franchise. Now we get into an even more bigger, just kind of crapshoot zone, if we're being honest, where we are going into pick number 7 for the New Jersey Devils, and I'm gonna, with the number 7 pick, I'm gonna have the New Jersey Devils select Jake Sanderson. So yeah, this is another guy I'm a little bit higher on than most, but I genuinely believe that defense is something that, you know, a lot of teams up here need, and Jake Sanderson, I think, is going to be he's going to definitely have his potential and his outlook a little bit boosted. I think he's going to go early because he is the 2nd best defender in this draft class. And I think that New Jersey taking him makes a lot of sense. He's left-handed. He is a two-way defender. He is somebody who can actually, you know, help the defense of the Devils in the next couple years. And I personally think his potential is a little bit higher than people are saying it's going to be. I think Jake Sanderson is a very good pick for the Devils to go with here. And in all honesty, like, yeah, I think that when you compare it to what else is on the board, I think there's one other guy they could go for here. I really see picks 7 and 8 being interchangeable, but I think that they will go and end up getting Sanderson, which leaves to pick 8 for the Buffalo Sabres, and we're just, you know what, I normally would cut, we're not going to cut the Buffalo Sabres to select Alexander Holtz. Alexander Holtz is a goal-scoring winger. Jack Eichel needs a goal-scoring winger. Oh my god, it's a perfect match of team and player. This would be incredible to see. Will it happen? My mock draft has it happening, but Alexander Holtz going forward with Eichel, it's just kind of one of those finally he's got his guy moments. In my opinion, I think that this could really work out well if the Sabres are able to get their hands on him, and yeah, he can just score all the goals and play with Eichel. And that could actually, you know, help the Sabres do the thing called winning in more than just November. Yeah, so now we transition into the number 9 overall pick, and we'll talk about how this guy kind of fell down the board for me. The Minnesota Wild. That's right, the Minnesota Wild have falling into their hands Cole Perfetti. Now, when you look on paper, when you look at the offense, it's ridiculous that Cole Perfetti did not go earlier. Here's the thing. Offensively, machine. Defensively, eh, eh, mmm, yeah, he's not the best defensive forward. A bit of a liability. But he knows how to do one thing, and that is put points on the board. And if he's not putting the puck in the net, it's, everyone else around him. Personally, for me, I'm also would be really excited to see this because I know Minnesota, I was really upset when they didn't get the #1 overall pick. I think that they really deserved it. But what a consolation prize it would be to have a line going forward that is Cole Perfetti up the middle, on the right wing, Kirill Kaprizov, and on the left wing, whoever, because that pairing alone would be insane. A guy meant to shoot and score, and a guy meant to pass the puck. That is and that would be what you're going to have going forward. I'm just saying, Wild fans, if this happens and this is how it plays out, don't be upset. If you get your hands on Cole Perfetti, do not be upset that you got him because, oh my god, that would be scary. Genuinely. That's the thing about this draft that I love. No matter where you're picking, you have the potential to pick up a guy who within 2 years could make a scary part of your core. That being said, we now get out of the definites for a bit because the last definite of the top 15 is not going to be for a few picks now. We get to the number 10 pick, and I believe the Winnipeg Jets will select Anton Lundell. He's not the flashiest name. He's not the flashiest player. He's not going to go out there and put up all the points. What he is going to be is a reliable second-line center now and for the future. He's going to be incredible on this team. This team had one hole. Obviously, on defense, they have a lot of holes. That being said, a lot of the defenders in the draft, none other than Sanderson and Drysdale, none of them should go in the top 10. Maybe top 15, and you'll see I have one in the top 15 later, but no other defender should go in the top 10 of this draft. And I think that if you're Winnipeg, okay, we're not going to be able to address that. Let's address our second big need, which is a bona fide second-line center going forward. Anton Lundell can be that. Give him a couple of years, he can step up into that position, being the second-line center going forward for the Winnipeg Jets. He is a very, very dastardly good two-way guy, and I think going forward, that would be a very good pick for the Winnipeg Jets to make. All right, pick 11, Nashville. I'm going to have them selecting Jack Quinn, right-wing sniper out of the Ottawa 67s in the OHL. By the way, that is the 4th OHL player picked, if I'm not mistaken. 5th OHL player selected in the top 11. There's a lot of OHL players this year who are incredible. And yeah, Jack Quinn is meant to score goals. That is his purpose in life. He's very good at it. Very, very good at just taking the puck and putting it in the back of the net very, very simplistically. In all honesty, though, this is a good pick for Nashville because, honestly, you look at the team, and they need a bit of offense. And when you look at where they have flexibility, like, yeah, they could take a defender, but again, like, why? Why take a defender at this point? Because you already have a very good top 4 set up when Fabro develops a little bit more. In net, you're not going to take Askarov, are you? Don't take Askarov, please, Nashville. That would not be smart. It's really the forward core that they need to add another guy. And Jack Quinn could be the guy that they could add. I think he's going to be pretty good. Now, for pick number 12, and as you see, my energy's kind of decreased because, like, a lot of these picks are just kind of like, okay. They're not as special as the top 10, But pick number 12. Pick number 12. I almost said 11 again. Pick number 12. Pick number 12, I have the Florida Panthers selecting Dylan Holloway. I will be completely honest about this pick. Even though there's 3 picks afterwards, this was the last pick that I kind of pegged out, because with my last 3 selections in this top 15, picks 13, 14, and 15, I have 3 players in there who I don't think that Florida would take. Don't really think Florida would take them. So it's kind of just like, okay, I have this list of Holloway and the 7 honorable mentions. Who's going to go there? I picked Dylan Holloway. I think he's the best player out of all of them. He was also the highest ranked on the draft boards, if I'm not mistaken, out of all of them. I think Amarov might have been slightly higher ranked on draft boards, but I'm not for sure off of what I was reading. Dylan Holloway, good two-way winger. Not a flashy pick, but a pick that's needed, you know. He's just going to be the type of guy who can help the team all around, and that's what they need. Now to pick 13, it is Carolina's pick. Technically Toronto's, but Carolina owns it off the Patrick Marleau trade, and I believe Carolina will select Askarov. You were waiting for him. You were waiting for him to pop up here. Yeah, Yaroslav Askarov. I'm going to have him going at pick 13. Now, this is, I will admit, I believe Askarov may very well go earlier than this. If there was, like, it's one of those situations where, like, if somebody makes a trade, maybe. But I believe the top 9 set in stone, and then I look at Winnipeg, Nashville, and Florida. Florida just took Spencer Knight, and unless they're going mad, they should not take Askarov. You know, Nashville don't need him. Winnipeg don't need him. Carolina, yeah, they have goaltending, but they don't really have the star goalie. I see them, if Askarov's still on the board. I'm kind of worried about Nashville taking him, but I don't think they will. I think that you will see the Carolina Hurricanes at 13th overall select Yaroslav Askarov. Now, honestly, if Askarov's available, there is a lot for the Hurricanes, I think, as for reasoning of taking him. The pick that you have is kind of just a free pick, if we're being honest. You acquired Patrick Marleau and then bought him out. You acquired the 7th, and then you gave up a 6th, and then you got back the first round pick as a sweetener. You know, honestly, this is, like I said, it's a free pick, meaning you have a bit more reign with it. You would love to hit on the pick, but if you don't hit on the pick, then, well, hey, didn't hurt us at the end of the day. Askarov's the type of guy to go for here because he looks like he could be a star goaltender, and if you get a star goaltender back, then that looks like a horrible trade on the Toronto Maple Leafs end of things. You need a star goalie, so just go for Askarov. Why not? I don't see the harm in taking him. And honestly, if any team is going to take him, because let's face it, this draft is so good, a lot of teams are going to be focusing on making the best selection they can. Askarov's going to be there. You need the goalie. I think Carolina should go for him. Now we get to a bit more of a personal pick for me, the Edmonton Oilers. And at this point, right here, I will admit, I went with the guy who I wanted the most. And I selected, and I believe the Oilers will select, and I have selected personally, Seth Jarvis. Player on the Portland Winterhawks in the WHL, a forward. I had to wait like 5 minutes, and that's why that was such an awkward reintroduction to the video. But yeah, Seth Jarvis, a very, very good offensive player. I really hope he gets to play alongside of McDavid, and he's not like Andreas Athanasiou and kind of just shoved down and said, here, guy who's clearly not in a role he's supposed to be in, have fun. I really hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, Seth Jarvis, he's looking really good, and I really hope that the Oilers take a swing and go for him. Yeah, and that is the second last pick in the draft. That transitioned us to the last pick, owned by the Toronto Maple Leafs, currently from the Penguins. Are you kidding? I'm sorry. I've had to wait so long to finish recording this. On the second last pick, I had to wait, and now there's a dog constantly barking. But yeah, 15th pick in the draft, held by the Penguins. Formerly held by the Penguins. Really weird. It got traded to Minnesota and then got bumped back to 2021. So then the 2020 pick got moved to Toronto in exchange for Kasperi Kapanen. The Toronto Maple Leafs, in my opinion, should select Braden Schneider. Another WHL player, but a right-hand defender. And thus the perfect player meets the perfect team needing him again in this draft. Right-handed defender. very good defensively, you know, good offensively, very good two-way defender. Going to a team that needs a right-hand defender of any sort desperately. Might be a while, but this is going to be a good pick for the Leafs. And that thus concludes my entry draft, and I'm sorry that it got a bit chaotic at the end. So that is my 2020 NHL entry draft. You guys let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is there anything that you believe that I don't have? I know there might be mainly discussion over the... I'm going to predict there's going to be discussion over the Rossi pick. There's going to be discussion over the Cole Perfetti slip. There's going to be maybe a bit of discussion over Sanderson. And maybe a ton of kerfuffle about my 10 through 15 range. Just I knew that was going to happen. There's a lot of debates there that can be had. Thank you all for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. And yeah, finally I get this big project out of the way. Bye for now.